I can change the opacity. And if I don't want to see these little steps between the changes, I just need to go to the brush panel, and here on the brush tip shape options I need to set the spacing to 1%. As you can see, spacing controls the steps of the brush, so when you draw it will make a smoother flow if you set it to 1%. So now if I draw, you can see that by changing the pen pressure I can control the opacity. That's the option here on the top. This is also something that you can go to the brush panel and turn it on by going to transfer and then choosing pen pressure for opacity to control the opacity. There is also another icon here on the top, this one, which can be used to control the size with the pen pressure. So now I turn off the other one and I just leave this one on, and I show you now if I change the pen pressure I can control the size of the brush, and if I want to do both at the same time I just need to turn both of them on. So now if I draw, I will change the size and the opacity at the same time. Again, this option, the size option, can be also found on the brush panel under Shape Dynamics and set the pen pressure to control the size. There are lots of options here in the brush panel, and it is like an extension of the options here on the control bar. The only option on the control bar which I haven't mentioned is the blend mode. Now, using a blend mode with the brush is quite advanced, but it's also a very useful option, and I will talk about this later when we start drawing. But to tell the truth, I prefer to use blend modes on layers instead of using blend modes with the drawing tools. For those who haven't used blend modes before, I just show you one, which is I think is the most interesting to start with. I just show you this one. So if I change the color of the brush to red, here with the color picker option, I change it to red and click on OK. So by clicking on this swatch here on the bottom, you can always change the color. But there is also another keyboard shortcut which is good to know. Control Alt and Command, or Control Alt and Shift on the PC. You can click and then use this color wheel to select the color. This is also something that we are going to use a lot in this series. So now I have the red color, and if I start drawing here, I'm drawing over these details. Let me just zoom a bit closer. So as you can see, I draw over it, but if I set the blend mode of the brush to behind, then I'm going to draw behind those details. And this is a great feature. I really like this option. But I will talk more about blend modes in the other episodes. So let me just switch back to normal. Now I would like to talk more about the brush panel in the next episode as well, because there we are going to create custom brushes, and to learn how to use these options here and how to save them as a brush preset is a bit complicated, so it's good to have a separate episode for that. So for now, it's enough if you remember Shape Dynamics and Transfer options and setting the pen pressure for the size and the opacity. But remember, you can always use these little icons here on the top to change these settings. And if you want to open the brush panel, you can always click on this icon here on the top, and that will open the brush panel where you can always see a preview of your brush. And last but not least, I would like to talk quickly about tablets, because probably if you are using a mouse and you are interested in digital art, you're probably trying to find out which is the best solution for you. So what kind of tablet is the best to buy? I have been working with tablets for 7 years, and I really trust Wacom because their products are just amazing. So I think everyone can find what they need by choosing one of their products. All of their products are really high quality and really easy to use. It mainly depends on your type of work and budget that which product is the best for you. So let me just go through the families that they have. That's the bamboo family, which is the smallest one and the most inexpensive. It's the best option if you want to learn to draw in Photoshop and if you are completely new to digital art and if you never used tablets before, because it's quite cheap but still gives you really good control, and it's also really easy to carry with you anywhere where you go because it's really small and very light. I usually use bamboos for presentations, so it's a great tablet. And as an extra, you can even use your hand movements, your gestures on the tablet, so not just the pen, to control the view or just to flick around images. It is similar to a touchpad on a MacBook. So it's a great choice for beginners. But if you feel more confident and you would like to have even better control and even more precise movements, then the next category is Intuos. Again, you can see they have lots of different sizes. I prefer the second one, the medium size, if I work on a laptop. But if I work on a big screen, let's say a 27-inch screen, then it's better to have a bigger tablet. So the larger your screen, the larger your tablet should be. But even the smallest one gives you better control than the bamboo tablets. You also have these buttons which you can use for shortcuts and functions in Photoshop or any applications, which is also a big bonus because on the bamboo you usually get 2 or 4 buttons only. But the Intuos tablets are more expensive than the bamboo tablets, of course. And if you are willing to invest into a tablet even more money, then you can go to the third level, the Cintiq tablets, which is definitely the best product if you want to do digital art. These tablets are not just simply tablets, but they are also screens. So if you connect them to your computer, it's like a secondary monitor or screen where you can work directly on the screen and paint and draw on the screen. They have 2 different sizes. They have the 12-inch screen size and the 21-inch screen size. This way of drawing is the closest to traditional media because here you can actually feel that you add ink to the paper if you are drawing on the screen, and you don't need to get used to drawing on a tablet and at the same time looking at the screen, because here your hand movements and the brush strokes are on the same place. That's something which is quite weird for the first time if you never used a tablet before. So if you use an Intuos or a bamboo for the first time, to get used to that drawing on the side and see the brush strokes on the screen. So it's a new hand-eye coordination that you need to get used to, and that's something that you won't have to deal with if you have a Cintiq. But there's only one small tiny disadvantage on the Cintiq screens. If you ever tried drawing with an Intuos or a bamboo and you got used to it, then if you draw on a Cintiq, you will find it a bit distracting that your hand and the pen is always in the way. So you are actually hiding some parts of the image with your hand. It's just like on a paper, you need to move your hand away sometimes to see the whole picture. So it's the same on a Cintiq, because you are drawing on the screen, you are actually hiding some parts of the screen with your hand. But as I said, this is a very small disadvantage. And believe me, it's great fun to be able to draw on the screen and to have a device like this. So if you really want to invest into buying a tablet, I highly recommend the Cintiq tablets. And obviously the smaller one is easier to carry around and easier to store than the big one. But the big one is like a big canvas, so you see more of your artwork at the same time. You don't need to zoom in and out all the time. So this is just a quick introduction to the tablets. And obviously there are other companies, not just Wacom, but I always use Wacom tablets, so I have experience with these products and I'm really happy with these products, so I can highly recommend them to anyone. And believe me, if you're not good with drawing, nowadays with these tablets you can even learn to draw on your computer. And that's all that I wanted to talk about in this episode. I hope I gave you some useful information about tablets, and also you've learned some new things about the brush tool. In the next episode I will talk more about the brush panel, and I will show you how to create custom brushes. So make sure you join me next time as well. Thanks for your attention, and start practicing with the brush tool.